School governors face a wide range of issues whilst attempting to manage their schools successfully. This programme focuses on a team of governors tackling some of the responsibilities that can be encountered. Our panel have been placed in the role of new governors at a hypothetical school. They'll be shown a sequence of 3 reconstructed events, each developing a dilemma facing the governing body. Their challenge after each stage will be to use their experience to discuss their duties and how best they could handle the situation. Meet the panel. Julie Reid, an LEA governor with 16 years' experience. Martin Brook, a parent governor with 13 years' experience. And Eric Pepper, a community governor for the last 10 years. Keeping a close eye on the proceedings and assessing the governor's performance is Paul McGann, an education officer with 15 years of experience supporting and training governors and troubleshooting problems in schools. How will the team handle the challenge? A pupil at a school is regularly in trouble for behavioural problems. One day, the pupil gets in an argument with another pupil and a fight breaks out. A teacher intervenes in an attempt to stop the fight, and one of the pupils falls over and is injured. The teacher informs the head immediately about the incident. He claims he attempted to separate the children by pushing them apart, with the consequence that one fell backwards and hit his head on the floor. The discussion begins by focusing on the area of physical restraint.
Shouldn't have done it in the first place. Shouldn't have pulled them apart.
It's a hard one. There is guidance now, isn't there, about intervention and contact intervention. But you've got to. It's very difficult to assess. It depends on the severity of the fight. If one guy looked as though he was, going to get a real beating here rather than just handbags, then you've got to step in quick. It's an instinctive thing, isn't it?
He should have said before he left his desk, "You two, stop the fighting," which gives them a warning.
Yeah.
Verbal intervention first.
Verbal intervention first.
So, because he's not thought about the way that he's done it by instinct.
Yes.
He's caused the child to bang the head, and if that child should die because of as a direct result of that, he will be the cause. I mean, most teachers will do today is tell the other pupils to move away because they can egg them on. So they'll be saying fight, 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 whatever. Move them out. Move any sort of furniture that's in the way, tables, chairs, etc.
Meanwhile, whilst he's doing all this, moving his furniture and the chairs away, these two kids are pounding each other.
Yes, they are, but they're pounding each other. And he's not intervening. And I know that sounds awful, but at the end of the day, it's all about the fact that people want to make a malpractice claim, which is what happens now. That's what he will be implicated in, that child's injury.
You could have the other scenario. If one lad is getting beaten rather badly by another boy, his parents might have recourse to come back and say, why did that teacher not intervene sooner?
Governors will often have preconceived ideas of how teachers should or shouldn't behave in particular circumstances. It is important that in any subsequent disciplinary hearing that the governors don't act on those preconceived notions, but on the basis of the evidence that's presented to them. In this circumstance, they will be asked to judge whether the intervention of the teacher was appropriate. And it is correct for the panel to wonder whether the teacher did use all of the professional knowledge and expertise that he has to try to avoid the need for physical intervention, which should be a last resort and only in circumstances where the teacher feels there is no other option. However, if the teacher can say that all of these other issues were looked at, then it may be appropriate for physical intervention to have taken place.
Eric, in your school, do governors ever get involved in teacher training for this kind of situation?
No.
No, don't in mine either.
No.
About behaviour policies, though, you must have a behaviour policy. There should be a policy within the school.
And does it specifically cover what teachers should do in a fight situation?
Well, there is guidance, let's put it that way. But most staff meetings and inset days, training days, will cover areas like behaviour and what should be done in given situations. So there will be...
But as governors, we wouldn't have much input into that.
No, maybe governors should have more input into that.
Yeah, maybe they should. Maybe they should.
Because when an incident happens and it goes wrong, then the governing body does get involved, don't they?
Yes.
But when it's going right, they don't. And unfortunately, it's only when it goes wrong that you end up getting involved, and you have to read the policies.
Good
and
point.
you should have known before. What I would say is that there's some well-known behaviour management people out in the field now who governors should be told about what's good and what's bad,
course.
and and that should be done at a governor's meeting.
What we're discussing here, though, and have done all day, is an ideal world. We have 4 or 5 main governing body meetings a year.
Yeah.
Which last from 7 o'clock to the latest 9.
Yes,
and
it's not long
sometimes
enough,
before,
is it? Yeah.
when any other competent business comes up, everybody's getting their coats on.
Yeah.
I would love to get involved in some of this stuff, but when is it going to get done?
The responsibility for the conduct of teachers rests primarily with the head teacher of the school, but the governing body are right to expect that their teachers are trained in these issues, particularly the difficult ones of physical intervention. One way in which governors can become more aware of the difficulties facing teachers and the way in which they can expect a response is to sit in on teacher in-service training days so that they become more aware of the issues.
The next day, the head receives a complaint from the parents of the child. They say the teacher has assaulted their son. The head explains that he believes the teacher's conduct was reasonable in this situation and he supports his actions. The parents then write to the governing body, accusing the teacher of using unnecessary force. They claim that the teacher often picks on their child and that the head has not taken their complaint seriously enough.
Well, I did tell you so. This would happen, didn't it?
Yes, you're quite right.
And you, as
usual,
the
Julie.
governing body now, you see, I've got to deal with it.
You've
and
been
you
right all day today.
And you
know.
didn't even know what the behaviour policy was.
No.
So, and it's too late. So, what are you going to do about it?
Well, the first thing we do is we invite the teacher to a meeting to explain his side, and then we get the boys in separately to explain their side, and then we ask the other children in the class also what happened, and dependent on what that says depends on what action then you've got to take it forward.
If the parents think the head teacher or the chairman of the governors is doing the inquiry, they're going to say, oh, it's going to whitewash, he's going to whitewash this.
Well, that's where perhaps the LEA is asked
LEA.
to come in.
Bring in an independent person
Yeah.
to do the inquiry.
But the governing body is the one that's got, and they're the independent body, aren't they? You don't really
Yeah.
need another independent body.
The governing body should be concerned here that the head teacher appears to have given a response to this incident to the parent without a full investigation taking place. I think governors should expect that any incident involving physical contact between a member of staff and a pupil should require a full investigation, remembering that the governing body may at the end of the day have to make decisions regarding the possible exclusion of the pupils or disciplinary action against the teacher if that's felt to be appropriate.
The debate turns to how to handle the complaints from the parents.
So then maybe what there is representatives from the governing body after collecting all the evidence is that maybe 1 or 2 members of the governing body are actually asked parents to come into school face to face.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be done. You
Yeah.
can't do it in a
Yeah.
letter, really.
Yeah.
It's to gain credibility.
I
if
think the
nothing
head
else.
will have done it first.
but you-
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
But to gain credibility and confidence in that the parents believe that the governing body is independent and has acted in the
Yeah.
best interest of their child,
Yeah.
they've got to be seen face to face.
Yeah.
And then if they don't accept the evidence that's been put across by the disciplinary committee, then they have recourse to go to the LEA. Not enough parents, I don't think, have enough faith in governing bodies being an independent. It's but again, it comes down
It
to...
should be the governing
With,
body, really.
with
course,
yeah.
it comes-
Martin, not many parents know what a governing body is.
No, they don't.
No,
you're right,
and that's
you're
part of the
right.
problem.
Yeah, it is part of the problem.
Because if more parents knew what the governing body did or what governors got involved in, there would be far more interaction. I'm parent governor. Nobody rings
No.
me up.
Our panel have raised a really important point, which is that many parents are completely unaware of the role that the governing body play in the life of a school. Governors might want to consider things like sending out a regular newsletter in addition to any information the school sends out, which can explain the role that the governors play and the decisions that they make. Governors can also attend parents' meetings or other events which are organised by the school so that parents become more aware of the role that the governors play.
After looking into the case, the governing body conclude that the teacher used only reasonable force against the child and informed the parents in writing of the outcome. Several days later, the pupil's father arrives at the school and enters through one of the many side entrances. He confronts the teacher in front of a group of pupils and threatens him with physical violence. The reconstruction sparks a debate about the importance of school security.
He's broken into the school,
Yes, he has.
broke security,
Yes.
stormed in past a lot of children. So, I mean, there's a problem with security at the school anyway, isn't there? There should
Sure.
be one entrance in and one entrance out.
The first thing they've got to do is learn from this. And one of many side entrances have all got to be closed.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. that shouldn't have
Just
happened,
keep
yeah.
a couple
Correct.
open for fire doors.
And
Yes.
you only have a security entrance. They've got to be able to press the button to get in. They've got
Yes.
to say who they are, and they've got to get through another set of doors, etc.
Quite right.
And have a filter before they get through.
Dunblane and all the rest of it. I mean, that's, you know, they must be more secure.
So what Dunblane did was I can remember it actually shut schools down overnight.
Our panel are rightly very concerned that the issue of school security appears not to be taken seriously. There is always a danger that after headline events, after a few years, people become complacent, and it is important that after an event such as this, the governing body insists that the school review its security policy. Parents have no automatic right to be on school premises, and the appropriate course of action would be for the governing body to write to the parent, pointing out that the behaviour is unacceptable and threatening legal action should such behaviour continue.
Finally, our panel discuss what governors can do to improve the relationship between the school and parents in general.
In my experience, people who come in who use physical violence is because they don't know any other way to communicate.
No.
And it's
Correct.
it's because they're frustrated.
Yes.
So what you've got to try and do is diffuse that situation.
We've got a school of 1,400 pupils, and very, very few parents get involved in anything.
Yeah.
Which is a great shame. But then it's partly school's fault because I don't think we're inclusive enough with parents.
And if you've got parents who are aggressive and violent because they don't know another way of communicating,
Yes.
then, you
Those
know,
are the
maybe...
ones you're trying to reach. The problem is, how do you identify the problem parents?
but-
How do you
No,
identify
no,
the
you
parents?
don't- you
No,
don't-
but
you don't
for example,
do
our
that.
school,
Yeah.
how do you identify the parents that you think might need
No, you-
help and would appreciate help?
You don't do that. You put on the facility.
Yes, but the ones you want to reach are never going to be the ones
But
who
you
come
can't,
and
you can't
volunteer.
target those people, can you? All you can do is you can provide that facility on
And
site.
invite them.
If that father had been involved in the school in any capacity, what shape or form, even if it had just been helped as a volunteer,
Yes.
he would have had some relationship
That's right.
with the school.
That's right.
The parents who are
It's about
not
ownership,
labelling, but
isn't it?
it is. This is your school.
One of the important features of governing bodies is that most members of the governing body will live and work in the community that's served by the school. Our panel are right to assume that the more information that parents have about the workings of the school, the more understanding they have about what the school is trying to achieve for their children, the less likely they are to have problems with individual parents. They're also right to dwell on the whole of the parent body and try to make arrangements to involve all of the parents in the life of the school rather than focus on just one or two individuals. Difficult situations occur from time to time in schools, and what this discussion has shown is the importance of governors making clear, both of teachers and of pupils, what expectations they have about their behaviour. In addition, the governing body play a vital role in ensuring good quality relationships between the school and the local community. Any ways in which the governing body can give greater information to parents and increase their understanding will improve relationships and make sure that problems, such as the ones described in this discussion, occur less frequently. And finally, it's important to remember that governing bodies don't need to act alone in such difficult circumstances. There's always advice and support and training available, and this can be accessed, for instance, through the Local Education Authority Governor Support Service.